I'm back with Geoff Tunnicliffe. He's the CEO and International Director of the World Evangelical Alliance. One of the things that evangelicals have been known for, at least not necessarily known for, but at least pigeonholed, is to say evangelicals are anti-gay. They're kind of lumped in with a fundamentalist kind of perspective. Where does your organization weigh in on the issue of how to treat and how to engage in the gay issues?
Well, as evangelicals, we're committed to the authority of the Bible. And we think the Bible actually does speak about moral issues, and it does speak about issues related to marriage and homosexuality. And so we would take the view that our perspective is that the Bible does speak clearly against a homosexual lifestyle, but it's how we treat people. I think we treat people with dignity and with grace. And sometimes within our community, we've not always done that. And so I think we need to treat people with, as I said, with respect. We recognize that people have different beliefs, different value systems, and we need to respect that, but we can also lovingly disagree with it.
Yeah, people like Tony Campolo have come out recently to say, listen, same-sex people, same-sex couples need to be able to be ensured of the rights that they are entitled to as citizens. That may mean that I disagree with their behaviors, but don't I need to at least give them the rights as citizens? What do you think about people like that are saying these kind of things?
I think again, we need to make sure that we're not giving them more than the rights of the average citizens. If they're citizens, absolutely, they need the same rights as every other person. And
does that extend if they're couples, as couples too, they should be given rights if they're living together?
Well, I think it's whatever is under the Canadian law, and we can disagree with that, but that's what the existing law, that's what the law says, and we have to. I think we have to respect that, and again, lovingly disagree perhaps with lifestyle issues, but allow people the ability to believe what they want, and it's a part of human rights. It's what we try to promote around the world as religious freedom.
Right. Religious freedom is a very interesting issue because it takes us into a global, and I want to talk about that for a couple minutes. You met recently with UN Secretary Ban Ki-moon. You had a conversation with him. What were the kind of issues that you brought up?
Well, there's several issues. One of the issues that we're involved in is something called the Mica Challenge. We launched this about 3 years ago. It's an initiative around the Millennium Development Goals. In the year 2000, 190 countries around the world promised to cut poverty in the world in half by the year 2015. We think that's a great goal, and the UN is behind that as well. And so we said, listen, we think that's a wonderful thing that countries need to be doing, but oftentimes people will make promises, government leaders will make promises, and they don't follow through. And so Mica Challenge, we do two things. We say we hold government leaders accountable for the promises they've made, and secondly, we say, you know what? The job is just way too big for governments to respond to. Poverty is just too big. And so we're calling upon Christians and churches around the world to also deepen their commitment to the poor. And so in our conversation with the Secretary General of the UN, those are the kind of issues that we talked about. But there are other issues.
And how did he respond? Was he...
Well, I mean, he was, coming into where we had our meeting in Washington. He met with a number of evangelical leaders. First time he'd ever met with evangelical leaders.
Wow.
A little nervous, but you know what? He said publicly that the Mica Challenge is the largest global campaign now focused on the Millennium Development Goals outside the United Nations. And he said to us, we need the church's help in doing it. And, Prime Minister Brown of the UK said the same thing to me before he became Prime Minister. He said, if it wasn't for the churches, we wouldn't have made the progress we have in the G8 in responding to the needs of the poor.
Yeah, I came across on your website, I forget the numbers now, but you were talking about how much giving evangelical people do to issues of social justice in our world.
Oh, it's huge. And
they're one of the largest contributors.
Yeah, if you add up all the different organizations, all the different churches in our network, it counts for billions and billions of dollars of aid that goes to responding to human poverty, the issues around the environment, the concerns that we have for caring for human beings, caring for our planet.
You said the environment. That's been a hotly debated issue among many evangelicals. Some people, like Focus on the Family, have said, "Oh, I'm not quite sure about global warming. We don't think it's human cause. Let's not deal with that." Many evangelicals are saying this is a key issue that we need to be on the forefront of. Where's your organization at on that?
Well, we just had our representatives in Bali. there to bring our voice, to seek to understand what's happening there, but also bring our voice of concern, because we think the environmental issues actually impact the poor in the world farther more than anyone else.
There.
Greatly interconnected. And so we issued a statement, and we said we're glad that they've actually made some progress there, but again, they've got a lot of work to do in the next 2 years, these leaders do. And we want to hold them accountable and say, you've made these promises, you've got to put you've got a process in place. Now you need to work on the framework, and we believe it's about creation care. We don't worship the creation,
right.
but we believe that we need to care for the creation that we've been given.
We have about 30 seconds left. If there are people out there, evangelicals, maybe Christians out there, what's a message you'd like to say to them to say, I want the idea of what it means to be a Christian to be changed, the caricature to be different? What would you say to them?
Well, I think as an evangelical, we're concerned about our relationship with God. It's the vertical relationship. But we're also concerned about the horizontal relationship, the relationship we have with other human beings. And I think we as evangelical Christians have so much to offer on both levels, spiritually and at the human level as well. And I want to encourage people to engage with an integrated faith. It's not dichotomized, not put in different boxes, but our faith needs to engage the culture in every part of life.
And that's engagement is a very interesting use of that, because you're pushing against this idea of just retreating and letting the world kind of burn up or something like that. You're saying, no, the call as a Christian is to engage. That's very, very different than many things I've heard.
Absolutely. I think we're called to, I think Jesus modeled that. He engaged the culture. And I think we're called to engage the culture and make a difference, not just engage, but actually make a difference. I think evangelical Christians should be the best citizens in every country that they're living in, and making a profound difference in the world in which we live.
Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'd love to have you back on the show.
Great. Thanks. Appreciate it.
The World Evangelical Alliance website is worldevangelicals.org.